Okay, we are going to learn about the water cycle today. Has anybody learned about the water cycle or knows what it is? Piper? You want to say what the water cycle is? No? Okay. Amherst?
Is it the ocean?
Well, the ocean is part of it. So if nobody knows what it is, that's fine. We're going to learn about it today. Maddox?
Rain comes in and lightning.
Good clue, right? Okay, this is my art, which is not really great art, but guys, this will give us the idea of what the water cycle is.
It's good.
Okay, it's good? You like it? Okay, good. Okay.
So water makes
Okay. Not exactly, but we're going to find out about it. So we're first going to read a story that I put on Google. So we're going to read this story together, and then we'll talk about it, and then we're going to do some art activities. Okay, how do I do it to the next page?
Click. I think you'll just click on the screen and it should work.
Okay. Okay, so this Mrs. Price Read Aloud Adventure, because I actually put this on Google Slides for kids to have at a different school one time. So our story is The Great Big Water Cycle Adventure. And we'll see if this, oh, there we go. Did you know that the same water has been falling as raindrops for billions of years? It travels around our planet again and again. The journey it takes is called the water cycle. Are you ready to dive into the Great Big Water Cycle Adventure? Yes, I hope so. Okay, the sun is a very important part of the water cycle. When the hot sun shines on our planet, the water in the oceans and seas becomes warmer. And as this happens, the water changes from liquid into a gas called vapor. So the water actually goes up in the air, then like misty, and goes into the clouds. So remember what we talked about when we were having that little quiz the other day, and it said, is the sun part of the water cycle? True or false? So you know it's true now, right? Right. Do you have a question?
Do you know that if the water makes the sky turn blue?
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe. Not. Okay. The water vapor rises because it is warm, and as the vapor travels higher, it cools and changes from an invisible gas into tiny droplets of water and ice, which become a
Cloud.
clouds. Very good. Remember we learned about clouds the other day too, and it said that clouds are made of water droplets and ice, right? So as it's going up in the air, it gets colder and colder and colder and becomes water droplets and ice. When the tiny droplets join together, it makes a
Cloud.
cloud. Good job. Whoops. Okay, that didn't work.
Click off and then click again.
Click off.
Click outside the white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As more and more droplets stick together, they grow bigger and bigger. So the clouds get bigger, bigger, bigger. And the droplets in the clouds become too big and heavy to stay in the air. So, what do you think happens when the clouds get too big and heavy to stay in the air?
It rains.
It rains. Good job. The water droplets then fall back to the earth as rain, hail, sleet, or snow. So all of those things are precipitation, what they call precipitation. Okay, I hope that works. Okay. When water lands on our planet, its never-ending journey continues. Where does it go next? This depends on where the water falls. If the water falls into the oceans and seas, the water cycle starts all over again. See how it goes? Around and around. So the water we have right now has been cycling around and around for, we don't know how many years. They're saying billions of years, but a lot of years. At least thousands, we know for sure. Okay, so if water falls on the land, some of it runs over the surface and trickles into streams. Small streams join larger streams, and these flow into rivers, And some rivers and streams tumble and gush down mountainsides as waterfalls. Uh-oh, can't see that. And this water sometimes travels back to the ocean if it gets in the big rivers, right? Okay. Did I do it? Okay. Some water falls or runs into ponds, lakes, and reservoirs, and this water may flow onward to the sea if it has an outlet. The sun may turn it into vapor again, or the water may stay put for many years. Like if you see a lake and it doesn't go out anywhere, that water is going to go up into the air, and then it's going to rain and come back down into that lake, right? When summers are long and hot, more water turns into vapor. Lakes and rivers sometimes disappear. Have you ever seen a pond when we haven't had rain for a long time?
Yes.
And it starts, the sides start drying up, and it gets smaller and smaller?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Water will also fall onto plants and trees. Do you want to ask a question?
Before my pond it got high. It got all the way to it passed where it should be.
Okay, sometimes if we get a lot of water, our ponds or lakes are going to get really filled up and maybe overflow on the sides. Our rivers do that too, right?
That's how mine did, yeah.
Yes, Maddox?
Well, it's just like Beanie's pool. It goes down and down until it gets warmer, it goes up. She has a temperature.
Yes, starts getting
Beanie.
warmer.
The water goes down in her pool.
Oh,
And then
yes.
goes back up when it gets.
Yes, because they have to add more water sometimes, right?
No,
Right.
because it just gets
No,
higher and higher.
Never. Easton?
One time when it was raining, I went in the backyard and it wasn't raining. And
Wow.
when it got water, it was raining.
Okay. Two more comments, that's it. Braxton?
One time, we didn't have the water hose on a long time ago. We didn't even have the water tower on when we had a pool. And then when we woke up the next morning, it had full of water.
Yes, sometimes. If it rains enough, it'll just fill up your pools. Maddie's our last answer. Go ahead.
My cousin's lake. Well, it's a big lake, and there was a dock, and then it rained a lot, and the dock was cold. All we can see was.
Okay, yeah, sometimes it gets so high it's gonna cover up things and overflow. Okay, water, so we talked about water falling on plants and trees and going into the ground, and it'll get soaked up in the ground by the plants. And this helps our plants grow. So we need water to grow plants and trees, right? Okay, water droplets on leaves are warmed by the sun and turned back into vapor. Some water falls on land and seeps down under the ground. It then fills the cracks and gaps between soil, sand, and rocks. This groundwater moves slowly, and it takes a long time to return to the sea. So there's actually water underneath the ground that flows sometimes and goes to the sea. Other times water falls as snow, and when it lands on mountaintops and in cold places, it does not melt at once. It may take a very long time to return to the sea. It may have to be all winter long before it starts melting in the spring or the summer. Some of the world's water has been frozen for thousands of years. It's trapped in glaciers, which are slow-moving rivers of ice. So they don't melt hardly at all. The water cycle does not always run smoothly. When there is too much rain, the water builds up too fast and there are floods. When too little rain falls, there is less water in streams and rivers, and this can lead to droughts. So we've seen both of those. The rivers overflowing on the sides, and then sometimes not having enough water. Ariel?
One time I had a flood at my house, but it was a little flood, and I thought it was going to be a big flood.
Yes, that can happen sometimes.
But it was this big of a flood.
Wow, that is.
Oh, I guess I'm on the pause.
Oh, okay, we're almost. Did you know that most of the water on our planet is salty seawater? We talked about that yesterday too, right? 72% of the planet is covered by water, and a lot of it is oceans. Only a small amount is the fresh water we need to survive. Over 7 billion people live on our planet. That's a lot of people, right? By using less water, we can make sure that there's enough for everyone. So try not to waste your water, right? The great big water cycle adventure never ends. Follow the arrows to see how the water goes around and around. So we got, right here, we got the sun warming the planet, and then the water vapor is going to rise into clouds, and when the clouds form, what do they have to do?
Rain.
They get full, super full, and then they have to rain down, and then they go back into the water, and then we're going to go back around the water cycle. Streams and rivers carry water back to the sea, and groundwater travels slowly back to the sea, and water is stored in oceans, ice caps underground, and in the atmosphere, in clouds. Okay, that's the end of our story. Okay, so do we understand the water cycle adventure better now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to learn a couple words that are kind of big words, but we're going to talk about them and talk about what they mean really quick. Okay, this is my not great writing, but anyway. So remember we talked about precipitation yesterday also? What does precipitation mean? You don't remember, do you?
No.
Okay. Precipitation, and it says equals rain. So precipitation is rain, okay? And accumulation, these are words that they use in the water cycle. So accumulation, I'm going to take this down. Accumulation is this, right? What is this?
Like
The water that the rain comes down and it accumulates somewhere, right? Either ponds or lakes or rivers. And then we have condensation. You know what that means?
Yes.
No, it means that this is when the water starts going back up in the sky from the sun, and it turns into vapor and goes back into the clouds, and then we go over here, and when the cloud gets big enough,
It rains.
it rains. So we have precipitation, accumulation, and evaporation. So big words. So we're going to try to use the easy words today, right? Okay. So I'm going to give you a picture of the water cycle. And then I'm going to have you cut the side. On the side is a little section of words. And they are our big words, so we'll talk about it. We're going to cut those off, and we're going to glue these in the right spots. Okay? Hayes? Yes, it does take a lot of water droplets before the clouds are here. Thank you. Okay guys, so the side has some pictures of some words in the side. You need to cut those, and there's only 4 of them. Get your glue sticks out. And then we can color. But there is one more paper we're going to do after this, so we don't want to take too long on this one.
Last Friday, there was a flood, like a little flood at our house.
Yes.
And it was like we had to get towels, and like I slipped on like my knee and like it. We had it was so
Slippery.
yeah.
Yes.
We had it to
in my backyard, I have some low spots, so when it rained a lot the other day, I have some like water, like puddles, big puddles in the backyard. The date is, oh, we didn't change it. It's the 16th. It's the 16th. Okay. So. Okay, I'm going to help you with this. Okay, so, the words that we taught, I'm gonna have you all help you.
Words to
Oh,
glue
you're not
on
supposed to
here.
cut.
I'll give you another.
You're always supposed to cut.
Wait, can we cut this? Yes.
They're cutting
They're
some
cutting
of the
the pictures?
pictures,
Oh,
so make sure they're understanding that they're just
sorry, I
supposed to.
did not.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm giving him a different one. Okay, you only cut these right here, just cut this little strip off. And we're gonna cut these 4 little pieces, and then we're going to, is everyone looking up here? Cut your strip off the side, and we're gonna cut those words, and we're gonna actually paste them in the right spot on the printer, okay? Oh, you have another one too? Okay, do you need any more?
I gave him and her another one. Yeah, no, that's good.
So if you have them cut out, you need to cut them into 4 pieces and get your glue sticks out. So get your glue sticks out. I will tell you in a second. Okay, so we talked about what precipitation is. So where you see the rain is the precipitation. So that would be in the cloud. Because what does precipitation mean? Somebody raise their hand. Maddox?
Rain.
Rain. So you're going to put the word precipitation, which starts with a P, on the cloud. Or glue it on your cloud, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the precipitation, I know those were big words, but we're just using them so that we learned what they were today. Okay. So does everyone put their precipitation one on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then down by your pond, or the round little circle on the bottom, what is it when the water falls down? What does it do?
Puddle.
It makes
Make
a
a
puddle or a pond, and it's called accumulation because it's accumulating all the water in one spot. So find the one that starts with an A and put it on the pond. Drop it. Let's find the one that starts with an A and put it in the pond. The round circle on the bottom is like a pond, okay? You find it? Okay. Tell me when you're done. Are we done with accumulation? Okay, now we are gonna go to,
I'm not even close. What is
you're not close?
Let me see.
Do you need help, right?
So where's the word precipitation?
Okay. So the arrow that's going up, the arrow going up from the pond, is evaporation, because your waters are gonna evaporate and turn into vapor and go up into the cloud. Right? So this is gonna be the evaporation, which starts with an E.
But
The word that starts with an E. What is evaporation?
Of this cloud.
It's right here. Evaporation. Okay, that one.
The
The accumulation goes right here to your pond. Evaporation is going from your pond up into the cloud. So it's your arrow. It's your big arrow. That's going to be your evaporation. Means when the water, the sun comes down, and the water evaporates into the sky. It's going up into the clouds. Okay. So that is the one that starts with an E.
It's the best one.
You put it on the arrow, guys. On the arrow that's going up in the sky. Michael. Okay. Does anybody else need help? Okay, evaporation is right here. It's going up into the sky. Okay, the last one is gonna be when the cloud gets all full and it's ready to start raining, it's gonna go condensation. It's gonna become a big cloud. So it's getting really big. So that's the C word. The C word is gonna be going from,
Is this?
you know what? I think actually, just put it right here. Put it right by the sun, or right underneath the cloud, guys. Okay, precipitation is gonna go on the big drop. You know the drop that some people cut out, that's precipitation.
So that's precipitation.
And evaporation is the big cloud.
Yeah. She said to put it on the cloud at first, but she meant put it on the raindrop.
Sorry. Okay.
It's okay. So we need to switch these.
Yes. This is precipitation. And where's your evaporation? Did it fall? It's underneath your hand. Wait a second. This one clean. You did. I'm sorry. Precipitation. Oh, accumulation goes right here. Accumulation is the pond. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I know I just had to do that, but I'm gonna have you do your own picture without the words and draw your own picture of what I just put on the board. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you can do that. And no words. You don't have to do any of the words. Because the pictures tell the story, don't they?
Can we color it? Yeah.
Yes. You can do this with markers, right? Yeah. You use some markers to draw your water cycle pictures. What I want you to do is you're going to make your water cycle. You're going to make your own water cycle. You're going to make your own water cycle. Yes. cycle first.
Like we're going.
Yeah, and then you can color the other one. Okay, so everyone should be working on their water cycle picture now. So you're actually gonna make your own water cycle picture like I did on the poster.
Wait.
I actually have another picture I'm gonna put on the whiteboard or smartboard. Okay. So here's a colorful picture of our water cycle.
No, that's beautiful.
That's beautiful, huh?
Did you do that? No.
No, I did not. So for doing your picture, you really just, you don't need to make it that colorful, that's very colorful. But it gives you an idea of exactly what they're putting up here. Because here's our big cloud and it's raining. Then it's accumulating into a pond or lake or rivers or back into the ocean. And the evaporation is when it goes back up into the clouds. And then it builds up condensation, and that's how we get a rain cloud that comes back down. And there's the cycle. The cycle means it goes around and around forever, never stops. So draw a pretty picture. You can draw a colorful picture or whatever way you want to color. Yes?
Detail?
Whatever way you guys want to do. Looking good.
No, I want to make it like a rainbow.
If you want to, probably up in the sky. If you want to. If you want to, it's good to make the arrows, guys, because then that shows the cycle, okay? That's good. Like Hayes did his arrows. so that it shows what direction.
Can the Love Squad come to Miss Oliver's office at this time, please? The Love Squad, go to Miss Oliver's office.
Yes. You colored that already. Okay. Are we getting close? Some of us. Okay, does anybody want to come show their picture to the class and explain it? Gotta explain it. Okay. Paige, you want to get up here and show your picture to the class? And tell what the water cycle is from the picture, okay? You don't know what it is? Okay. You want to show this one? Okay. You got so loud. Good job. Good job. Thank you, Hayes. Okay, anybody else want to do theirs? Ariel?
Well, I'm not finished with the river yet.
You're not? You need a minute?
It's okay.
Maddie?
She's close enough if she wants to go ahead. Yeah. She's almost done. She
Okay.
just, yeah, you're okay.
Hold on one second. Let your sister do it. Okay, Maddie gonna go first? Okay. Okay, talk loud though, so everyone can hear.
So the rain comes down, it turns into like a lake or pond or anything that has water in it. And then it evaporates into a cloud. And it gets bigger and bigger. The more water it goes, it turns into a rain cloud. And then it just goes all over the garden.
Good job. That was awesome. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Ariel, you ready?
Let me keep it.
Okay, Ariel's gonna tell us.
Ariel, scoot this way, babe.
Okay, everybody listen.
Talk loud.